Once again, welcome everybody. A lot of you are still just signing on, so I'll get this started and tee this up. And I'm going to get started here pretty quickly because I've got a lot of information to share and I want to be respectful of your time. I know everyone is busy, especially, well, they're busy all the time in radio, right? But especially this time of the year, you've got a lot of things going on. So I appreciate your time and I'm not going to waste it. I'm going to get right into some content that I think you can really use. First of all, I want to welcome you to our first ever Lunch and Learn workshop. My company, I work with a company called Radio Content Pro, and that's who's sponsoring this first Lunch and Learn workshop. And it was the idea of the Radio Vendor Alliance, part of and Radio Content Pro is part of Radio Vendor Alliance. And they work with the Independent Broadcasters Association. So I know that gets confusing. There's a lot of names and brands that I'm throwing around there. But the three entities have come together to give you this presentation today. Beginning this month, it's going to be either a monthly or once every 2 months live workshop just like this, where you can learn some things about your station, learn some things that you can apply and use quickly. And it's all brought to you by the Independent Broadcasters Association. The IBA serves independent radio stations with ways to drive revenue and achieve cost benefits from scale that can't be achieved alone. They do a lot of wonderful things, including group contesting. They do some things for human resources, for insurance and benefits, and a lot of things that you should really look into, especially if you're an independent broadcaster. You can find them at iba.media. Radio Vendor Alliance is relatively new. It's been around for about a year. RVA members provide premium services to local radio stations with affordable pricing and exceptional customer service. They do a great job in vetting who is allowed to be a part of it, making sure that it's really quality vendors and quality products, quality services that are offered, and that it really is a value to the stations that do business with it and at an affordable price. So I invite you to check that out as well at radiovendoralliance.com. Now, today we're going to be talking about how you can increase ratings, generate new revenue, and improve your operating efficiency by using AI. AI is a hot topic, and I'm not going to go into the details about how to use AI. I'm going to show you some ways that you can use AI, and you'll find ways to use it in programming, in promotion, in marketing, in research, in analysis, and in sales in today's session. It's designed to last about 30 minutes or so. We're going to move very quickly. Now, if you are falling behind or can't keep up with some of the details that are on the screen, because I'm going to show you some prompts today that you can use. You can take screenshots, but I would advise you to just wait because I'm going to make these slides downloadable later on today. You'll be able to download the entire presentation and you'll be able to watch today's session on demand later. A few hours after today wraps up, you'll get an email with a link that you can watch it on demand and download the slides. So don't feel like you have to take a screenshot of everything that's happening or take copious notes, because you'll be able to download all of the slides later. Also, if you have questions, I will stay on and answer questions as long as you have them. You can type it into the chat box. A lot of you are using the chat box now. That's fantastic. You can type it right in there, or you'll also see a Q&A only tab at the top next to chat. It says Q&A only. If you want to type your question in there, I'll get to them at the end of the presentation today. I'm going to talk to you for maybe 25 or 30 minutes. I'm going to go through a lot of things very quickly in all three of those categories. And then we'll open it up to questions, and I'll stay on as long as you keep asking, as long as you keep interacting, and as long as there's things to talk about. Now, there's a lot of different types of people who are on this webinar today. I see engineers. I see air personalities that I've known and worked with in the past and are working with right now. I see program directors. I see sales managers. I see owners of stations that are coming in. There's something in here for all of you. Not everything will apply to each of you. So take from it what you can. And most of all, I want you to think about how you can use the concepts that are being presented, because a lot of these you can apply to your situation by understanding the thought process that goes behind extracting the value out of the AI. All right, so with that, let's get started. Section 1, I want to talk about programming, promotion, and personalities, how you can increase ratings with AI. First idea is to create endless ideas and angles in programming. And AI is probably the best content creation brainstorming tool that I've seen in maybe forever, because you can get exactly what you want from it, but you have to know what you're looking for. This comes from Meg Dowdy, who works in digital at Town Square. And we did a presentation at Morning Show Boot Camp a couple of months ago. And Meg was on my panel, and she came up with this, and I love it. I've been using something similar to this with a lot of the stations that I consult, and I think you can get a lot of use out of this as well. I want you to, this is a prompt that you can put into any large language model, whether it's Microsoft's Copilot or Gemini or Claude or ChatGPT or Grok, or whichever one you use. And if you're not using any, you can start using them. We'll talk about that as we go on. But you can put this prompt into just about anything, customize it to your character brand, and get some great content out of it. So the prompt says, I want you to do some research for me and act as an audience engagement expert. You excel in creating questions that engage women between the ages of 25 and 39 who listen to pop music and live in the southeastern United States. Give me a table of questions, including 10 that are related to relationships, 10 from current fashion trends, 10 about regional food, and 10 related to current pop culture celebrities. And then it tells you how to, it tells the AI how to format it in the output. This is a brilliant prompt because it's thorough and it's complete. And that's one of the things that you need to learn when you're working with AI. I talk to a lot of personalities. I talk to a lot of programmers. I talk to a lot of bright people in general don't know how to ask AI for what they want. So they leave it too broad. They say, I'm a radio personality and I'm looking for ideas. So what can I ask my audience that'll get me interesting content? And the AI gives you something vague and generic, and you conclude that AI doesn't work, that it's lame, that it can't help me. Well, you've got to tell it exactly what you want. So this is a great prompt because, first of all, it says, I want you to do research for me. Tells the AI exactly what you want. Act as an audience engagement expert that specializes in creative on-air questions that can also be used on social media. And then it says what the target audience is. Women between the ages of 25 and 39 who listen to pop music and live in the southeastern United States. Very specific. So it can tailor something back to you exactly what you want. Then it gives it guidelines for the types of questions. Relationships, current fashion trends, regional foods, and things that are related to current pop culture celebrities. Awesome prompt. And this is what it turned out. This is an example of just a few of the questions in a handful of the categories. What's the most romantic spot in the Southeast for date night? What's your favorite Southern love song? Biggest relationship challenge for Southern women? Family opinions, long distance, or something else? There's some great thought starters here. It's not fully developed. It's not one of those things that you can grab and put on the air the next day, but it's a place for you to start in creating some really compelling content. The second thing in increasing ratings is using AI to help you develop special features. I've been doing this a lot with stations that I work with over the last few weeks. Here's an example, and we did this at the end of summer. It's over Labor Day weekend. And we wanted to have that last blast of summer. And so I created this prompt that said, I'm creating a special playlist of songs to capture the feeling of summer. You're my music expert. Give me a playlist of 10 songs, each up tempo, any genre, any era, but they must be popular with a typical adult woman between the ages of 25 and 40. The songs can include lyrics that are specifically about summer or songs that capture the feeling of summer, and then include the reason you suggested each song. Awesome. Now, here's the output that I got from this playlist request. Blinding lights, can't stop the feeling, and a one line that fit that of why it chose that song for that description. Now, if I didn't like this output, I could say, that's great, but try again and let's broaden it. Let's tighten it. Let's focus it on more in this type of style. Maybe put in some hip hop in here. There's not many rock songs in here. Can you give me the same prompt, only make it all songs that are rock? And AI will do that for you if you tell it exactly what you want. And the great thing about AI is that it has no feelings. So if you were working with a human assistant and said, here's what I want you to do, and they came back with a bad list, well, it might be because you coached them wrong or gave them the wrong prompt, but you'd feel bad about saying, well, this isn't what I'm looking for. I want you to go back and do this all over again. And they get all depressed. AI has no feelings. AI won't be upset or frustrated with you if you go right back to them and say, look, that's not what I'm looking for. Do it this way instead. And they'll carry that on and keep doing that for you as long as you want to interact with them. I love this one, and it's unlimited in what you could do to analyze ratings results and look for opportunities to improve your programming. Here's a prompt that is a good start. You're a data analyst specializing in radio ratings data. I'm uploading a spreadsheet showing radio ratings broken down into individual quarter-hour periods. You can read all the details there. I'm going to skip a little bit. I want you to compile an analysis summarizing specific strengths and vulnerabilities. Clearly explain the data based on time listening trends during the time periods provided. Then analyze the data from the perspective of my station and recommend a strategy to increase ratings results. Now, as you get some of this data back and some of the summaries back, you can then coach the AI to go more specifically in one area. You can explain the type of station that you have, the format that you have, the position that you have. You can describe what the other stations are and say, now, what are some tactics I can use in these quarter hours where you said that there's opportunity that I can capitalize on this in the best way? So you could just keep going and going and going. I've been using the ratings analysis in ChatGPT especially for about a year, and it's gotten better and better and better. And it can crunch numbers and it can crunch data much faster than you can in any amount of time, and it'll show you some ideas that you can look into to enhance your programming. Next area is promos. And this one, I'm going to show you the prompt. This was sent to me by John Holliday, who I see has just joined the seminar here a few minutes ago. John's company is Radio Consulting Services, and he's a proud member of the Radio Vendor Alliance. And he sent me a promo for a September promotion on Classic Rock 107.3 The Drive. Now, here's a prompt that could create the copy for that promo. You are a creative copywriter. Your job is to write on-air promotional announcements for our radio station, Classic Rock 107.3 The Drive. Write concise, less than 30 seconds copy for a September promotion, and then describe what it is. Honoring Led Zeppelin during September. Give me 10 clever scripts that reference the season, fall, September, the legend and popularity of the band, and the history and memorable moments of Led Zeppelin. And it will crank out copy for you that is ready for you to edit, fine-tune, and produce. Now, John took it one step further. He went into 11 labs and found a British voice that was cool and hip and had that voice be the voiceover for the promo. And I'm not going to play that. I've got a bunch of audio that is included with this that I'm not going to play for you today in the interest of time. If you want to send me an email, tracy@tjohnsonmediagroup.com, I'll be glad to send you the audio pieces, or I'll send you a link to where you can see them on my website. But the promos that came out of this, all AI generated, time saver, makes the station sound better, and it can spur your creativity in ways that you never expected. Next, how about hosts and co-hosts? Now, this is a hot topic, and I don't want to get controversial and talk about the future of AI talent, but folks, it's coming. And I've got a great example here from a station that I work with in Houston, Texas, on KGLK. The morning show is Dean and Raj in the morning. Now, when they go on vacation, it's a show that's very interactive. They've been together for about 30 years. And Dean and Raj take vacations at different times. And the show's never quite the same when one of them is gone. So when Raj was on vacation a couple of weeks ago, Dean had cloned his voice. It took about 3 or 4 minutes of audio, cloned Raj's voice. And every morning, 4 times a morning, every hour, Raj does a sports commentary about sports that are happening in Houston. Dean took that content, uploaded new material from the previous day that was current and now, and had Raj do the sports report, even though he was out that week. And I've got 2 pieces of audio that I can send you. I'll send you a piece of audio of Raj doing the sports report live from exactly a week before, and the one that AI created using Dean's prompt. And I will challenge you to identify which is AI and which is live. On Monday of this week, I was in Kansas at the Kansas Broadcasters Association, and I played both for a room full of programming people. And I said, how many of you think cut number 1 was live? And about a third of the hands went up. How many think number 2 was the live one? About a third of them went up. How many of you aren't sure? You can't tell. And the other third hands went up. They couldn't tell. They didn't get it right. And the tricky part of it is, the ironic part of it is, I honestly think that AI Raj sounded better. So that's coming, and there's some amazing things that you can do with it. So again, send me an email and I'll send you the audio. Kara asks me to provide my email again. It's Tracy, Tracy, at tjohnsonmediagroup.com. And I'll be glad to send that out to you. Next part, this is what everybody wants to talk about. This is why the owners and the salespeople are on this call. They want to find out how I can make revenue, how I can generate new revenue and make money with AI. Well, there are some ways to do it. There's some things that are a little bit more sophisticated than we have time to get into today, but I'll show you a bunch of ways that you can immediately start improving your sales effort now. And the number one is prospect analysis. And I have been talking to companies for the last couple of years about, we've got to expand the advertising base that is spending money in radio if we want to thrive and survive. And we're just not getting out to enough new clients coming into radio. Here's a prompt that will help you find it. And this would work if you're trying to find a sponsor for an event, a sponsor for a programming feature, or if you want to just describe your radio station and say, who are some advertisers that should be marketing themselves on our radio station? I'm looking for advertiser and sponsor partners for a multimedia campaign that includes radio announcements, website advertising, a social media profile, and lead generation. The campaign is targeted to, you put in your information. The main sponsor benefits include, you put in your list of things that the sponsor will get. Now, compile a list of potential advertiser categories with 6 to 10 specific prospects in my area, my community, your local information that fit this criteria. If you do that, you will uncover new leads for cold calling your advertisers. And it's absolutely brilliant what you can come up with that. Now, the next thing is you're going to have to figure out how you're going to research these people, why the AI chose to do it. And you can ask the AI, why did you justify why you chose this client? How much, you can ask it how much money it's estimated they spend in traditional media. If they're active on social media, if they're active on online advertising, if they are spending money in television, you can ask them all kinds of questions. Some of it you won't get information, but some of it you will. Now, once you've identified the prospect, research them by using AI as a research assistant, which your sales team and your sales assistants probably don't have time to do on their own because they're out making calls. Here's a prompt. Gather detailed information about the advertiser you found when you were prospecting at the advertiser's LinkedIn URL. Most of them have that. And the advertiser's website. You can also put their social media handles in there if you want to, but I find that LinkedIn and their website will give you better results. I want as much information about their business, their target customer, and the primary advertising decision maker as possible, and give me a summary with specific reasons they would be a candidate for this ad campaign, this promotion, this sponsorship, running commercials, being a traffic sponsor, whatever it is that you want to sell to them. You will get some terrific feedback back from the AI. Now, once you've got that, you need to turn it into a presentation. You need to have a pitch, right? Here's how you do it. Use this prompt. I want you to create a PowerPoint presentation designed to influence the name of this advertiser with the goal to convince them to become a sponsor of what it is you want to sell them. I'm uploading a document with details of our sponsorship package, audience qualities, pricing. I'm also providing relevant details about the sponsor prospect. Build the presentation with a tone designed to excite and influence the decision maker with an emphasis on how it will generate top of mind awareness and new leads. Right? It's awesome. It will give you a terrific PowerPoint presentation that all you have to do then is decorate it a little bit. Drop in your logo, put in your pricing, dress it up to make it look pretty, and you're ready to go with a customized ad presentation ready for that advertiser. Very easy to do, very quick to do. Need to invest time in the prompt. If you've all heard the saying garbage in, garbage out, right? If you put bad content into the prompt, you're going to get bad output from the prompt. So learning how to prompt is everything, and taking the time up for, just like doing a radio show. If you aren't prepared for the show, if you don't invest time in preparation, you're not going to get good output in the performance. And then once you have somebody who says, yeah, I'm interested in doing that, what's it going to sound like on the air? You can do something similar to what I showed you with the promo in the last section and be a copywriter. You can turn AI into your copywriter. You can have it do spec spots. You can have it all ready to go, so you can really dress up how you interact with your advertisers. Now I'm going to show you some things about Radio Content Pro and how you can improve operations with AI. A lot of you are in the budget process right now. Some of you have completed it, but you're kind of coming down to crunch time where those budgets need to be finalized. And I can guess that your revenues are probably not going up, at least in the traditional part of your business. You're looking for more digital revenue, and your expenses are you're probably trying to cut your budget. You're trying to cut out your expenses. Well, what happens is if you keep cutting your way to success, after a while, you start taking out so many of the things that used to be contributors to your success that you hurt your operation. But you can't keep all the same amount of services in the same headcount because the revenues don't support it anymore. So it becomes this perpetual motion machine going in the wrong direction. AI can replace a lot of those things that you thought you didn't have time for. And I'll also give you another hidden cost of what is happening in the radio business today. And that hidden cost is that we're asking more and more of the good people that we have at our stations, and it is absolutely burning them out. It's burning them out, and it's driving them crazy to the point where some of them want to get out of radio, and some are going, man, I just don't feel like I have time to be creative, and I don't have time to breathe anymore because I'm asked to do so much. Let me show you some things that you can do that will save time, make you more efficient, make you more creative, and can even generate revenue for your business. And it's done through Radio Content Pro, who's sponsoring this event. Maybe you've heard of Radio Content Pro, maybe you haven't, but I'm going to show you that Radio Content Pro can be a creative producer for every personality on your station. Personalities should be spending a significant amount of time gathering content and turning that into entertainment every day, but they don't have enough time to do it because they're voice tracking for other stations, they're scheduling music, they're they're posting on social media. They're doing all kinds of things. So and you can't afford a producer anymore. Producers are rare in this business, especially in the smaller and medium markets. So how can you be more efficient? Well, you can have a creative producer because Radio Content Pro searches the internet 24 hours a day, 7 days a week using specially trained AI bots, gathering content within 2 to 5 minutes of the time that it's published. So it's always fresh, always at your fingertips, and it curates it into content that is ready to be used on the air, online, and on social media. It's constantly updated. It's more effective preparation because now your talent doesn't have to spend 80% of their time looking for content. They can get that at their fingertips in moments, anytime they log in. And then they spend their prep time in figuring out how they're going to entertain their audience. So this is an example of what one of the stories looks like. Now, it takes that content and it breaks it down in a million different ways for radio. One way is that it's a news copywriter. Every story that is accessed is turned into a news story. Some of them are a little bit longer, some are a little shorter. This is an example of the daily newscast that's done for you, and it's perfect for a music station. May not be complete. This version may not be complete enough for a news talk station that does a little bit more in depth. But if you are a station that is basically copying and pasting your newscast from a different source, Radio Content Pro is your best friend. It's ready to read because the AI rewrites it in a style that's meant to be spoken and not read. We do it for newscasts, we do it for entertainment reports, and we even create a video script. Now, this is where it gets into revenue generation, because every piece of content has a video script that's about 30 to 60 seconds long, and it's ready for a talent to flip a phone around, hit the video record button, and speak that right into it. And now you've got a video for social media, you've got a video for online, and video, as you know, creates more attention and more engagement than just about any other form of online content. You can also improve operations by having a virtual talent coach. Radio Content Pro will suggest things your talent can say about every topic. It does teases for you. It has comments with a point of view, an edgy response, a mainstream response, a family-friendly response, and phone topics for every single content. And that content's being created perpetually, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And it manages social media for you. It creates online content and social media. Here's a blog post. You get the title and the blog post, which goes into all the details from the original source, but completely rewritten so it's for you, and it's written with a perspective. A lot of you are trying to generate revenue online by bulking up your website with new, fresh content. Well, with Radio Content Pro, you can take all of the time of writing out of that. We have a client in a medium-sized market who had a goal for each personality creating 10 pieces of content a week for their website. It had been a year and a half. They had never reached their goal. Not a single one of them had ever reached that goal. They signed up for Radio Content Pro, and all of them reached the goal in the first week because it was done for them. It was already started. It took the grind out of what you're asking them to do every day. And if you put a perspective on it, a personality on it, if you got some audio on demand that you can link to it, you take some of the phone topics and make that a topic as a conversation starter, you've got terrific content for what you're doing online. And if that's not enough, first of all, Radio Content Pro comes in 10 different products, each targeted to a different format and a different audience, and it tracks different sources. So there's a format product designed just for you. But if that's not enough, we also personalize it. In the corner of each page, there's a little icon down here called Radio Content Pro Sidekick. It's a trained AI bot and trained on radio, how radio is used, how personalities create radio, and it knows what you're trying to accomplish. Now, you can change the perspective and style of any piece of content. For example, you could say, I am a positive, upbeat personality that always finds the good in things. You can take the most negative story that's out there and ask Sidekick to come up with a positive angle for this, and it'll rewrite it for you. It'll also localize any topic, and you can brainstorm with Sidekick. A couple of weeks ago, there was a story about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Imagine that. And one of my clients put into Sidekick, I want to annoy the Swifties and get them to call up and yell at us for what we're saying about Taylor and Travis. What are some ideas you can do with this story to change it that would infuriate those people? And it came up with like 10 brilliant ideas and put it right in front of you, right on your desktop. So it's not only customized for your format and your target audience, it is also personalized for your individual character and personality. And speaking of personalization, I think every personality and every station should have its own character profile. And it's one of the first things I do when I work with talent, when I work with stations, is say, who are you? What are you all about? And it's a very complicated process, but we've automated that in Radio Content Pro, and we are offering it for free. If you go to Radio Content Pro and at the .com, and at the top of the menu, top of the page, you'll see a menu item that says Character Profile. Click on that, and you can create your own character profile for free. And then you can load some of the information from that into RCP Sidekick, and it will customize the content based on your character traits. It's a brilliant way for you to leverage the power of AI without having to figure out how to do all the prompts and without hiring an AI expert. And there's 10 custom products. Each are market exclusive. There's cash options. They're very affordable, starting at $49 a month for the very smallest markets, going up to $199 a month for the largest. If cash is an issue, it's available for barter. You can get it for 7 days for free. And if you're a member of IBA, the Independent Broadcasters Association that's putting this on, you can save 20% by going through the links in the Independent Broadcasters Association dashboard. So it's another way that a membership in IBA is paying off for your stations. So highly recommend that you check into it. If you would like a personal a demo of it, I would be happy to take you on one. You can drop me an email, tracy@tjohnsonmediagroup.com. I see Tom Dobras, who's also a member of RVA, has put my email up in the chat box, and you can schedule a personalized demo. I'll be glad to take you through it, or you can set one up through the portal at radiocontentpro.com. Peter Harrison, it's so good to see you on here. He's got to check out early, and I wanted to say hello. Peter has just celebrated his 40th year on C100 in Halifax, Nova Scotia. A great personality. He is absolutely terrific. And Peter, I hope you're still on to be able to hear that, because I worked with Peter for many years and miss you greatly. Wish you the best, my friend. So there we are. That's there's some ideas. I know I went through that really fast, but you can get the slides by following the link that will be coming to you later on today, and you'll be able to download those. And I'm happy to answer any questions now, or I will answer questions by email if you want to send them to me, tracy@tjohnsonmediagroup.com. In the meantime, while those questions start to come in, and it can be about AI, it can be about radio, it can be about promotion, it can be about anything in general, whatever you want to talk about, I'm here to help you with that, talk you through it, and give you some ideas. Our next Lunch and Learn seminar will be on December 12th. It'll be about gift certificate marketing. And you're going to want to come for that, because it's a great way to generate new revenue for radio stations, engage some advertising categories that are not spending any money with radio right now, but might be doing a lot of direct mail. They might be doing some internal couponing, and they want to increase their customer base by expanding their audience, just like you would like to increase your cum. Well, advertisers would like to do that as well, and they are happy to give gift certificates, 50% off, buy one, get one free, things like that. And we have an expert that's going to show you how to set that up at your business, at your radio station, so you can be the expert in your market for gift certificate marketing. That's coming up on December 12th. It's another Lunch and Learn coming. Watch your email box. You'll be getting an invitation to sign up for that Lunch and Learn seminar in the next few weeks. Okay, some questions have come in from several people in the Q&A box. You can type them in the chat box or the Q&A only tab, either one, and I'll answer them. The first one that I see is this one from Mario, who says, is Radio Content Pro available in other languages or planned to be available? And he mentions French in particular. And thank you for asking that, because I didn't acknowledge that we have people on from all over the world here. We've got New Zealand, we've got Thailand is involved, some South Africa people that I saw, and coming from all over for this seminar today. So that's a relevant question. Radio Content Pro is currently available in English and in Spanish. We have 2 Hispanic products. They were just released a few weeks ago. One is called Radio Content Pro El Grito. It's for regional Mexican stations. And the other is Tumbao, which is for the more urban and suburban type stations. So those are both available in Spanish. We do have plans to expand in the future and would do so on a market-by-market basis, but the engine can be applied anywhere. Now, Radio Content Pro has affiliates and customers in 27 countries right now. And some are English-speaking, some are not. And most of the content can be adapted and used just about anywhere. Now, if you're in another part of the world, some of the content that comes out isn't going to be as relevant to you as you might want it to be. You just skip that content, because there's hundreds of pieces of content that are coming to you every single day, and you will find something that you want. You'll find something that you need. Next question is, how often is Radio Content Pro updated? Is it like the other services that come out late in the afternoon? No, I probably went through that a little bit too quickly. Radio Content Pro is updated consistently and constantly, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. When a new story hits one of our sources, within a few minutes, usually like 5, I keep X up in my desktop every day, and I keep Radio Content Pro up every day. And Radio Content Pro usually has the story before it gets to X. And the content is much more robust and deeper, and it's curated for radio. So it's awesome. It's very timely. So one of the reasons that we developed it that way is because a lot of times morning shows will leave at 11 o'clock in the morning, and they don't start prepping their show until they come in the next morning, or they come in middle, or they'll get together late in the afternoon, early evening to scan and see what's available. Well, most prep services will be updated late in the afternoon or by 7 o'clock, and it's not soon enough for the show to really curate anything for the next day. And so we've got a lot of shows that are shallowly prepared. With Radio Content Pro, since it's creating content constantly, but when the morning show gets off the air at 10 o'clock, they can start preparing tomorrow's show, because they've got current information that's available to them, that's curated into topics that they can use tomorrow morning. Then by tomorrow morning, there might be an update on that story. There might be another story along the same lines with that topic. And it's really easy to update the show. At the same time, an afternoon show comes in at 2 o'clock to go on the air at 3. The morning show's used all the good stuff, and nothing new comes out until 6. Everything's dated. There's nothing for them to use. We've solved that problem because it's constantly updated. Anytime you log in, it's updated almost to the minute. Now we've got I showed you the news headlines and the entertainment report and how those are curated and written. Those are coming out once a day right now, early in the morning, so you can use them on your show. That's going to be updated to 3 times a day very soon. So that's that's how that all works. I'll go back to the chat box. Did you say we would get a replay of today's presentation? I couldn't get your email with the names of the things you said we could get if you said we send an email. Okay, I think I understand that. There will be a replay of today's presentation in the email that you get late this afternoon. And there'll be a link to watch the replay. You can share it with anybody you like, and you'll be able to download the slides that I showed you today in the presentation. If you want the audio that goes with a couple of those slides, there was one from the promo, the Zeppelin promo that I described, and then the audio of the host and the co-host. I would be glad to send that to you if you shoot me an email. And Tom just posted my email address on there, so you can find it on that. Another question on Radio Content Pro: how much is it? You said it's priced by market. How much is it? Well, there's several tiers. The first is for very small markets that are unrated. And I think Radio Content Pro is a terrific tool for stations that are unserved and don't have the tools and resources and headcount to compete with some of the bigger stations that are coming into their market, or compete with some of the even the podcasts that are out there, because there's just not enough time. So we've created, for unrated markets, it's $49 a month or $499 per year. If you go yearly, you save a few dollars. If you are in a rated market, but it's less than 250,000 people, it's $99 a month or $9.99 a year. If you're between 250,000 and 500,000 people, it is $149 or $1,499 a year. And if you're in a major market that's over 500,000 people, it's $199 a year. And for all the things that you get with that, I think that is effective and dirt cheap. Another question came from an owner who said, I own a group of radio stations in small markets. You said that Radio Content Pro will make money for my company. How do we generate revenue with this? Well, there are several ways that you can do that. One is by making it so efficient that you're saving money in your operation and improving the creativity and the tools that you give your people so you can get more out of them without draining them as individuals. A lot of them don't have time to do anything when they go home because they're working 12 hours a day because they're doing so much. Another, though, is the amount of online content that you can create, because almost all of the content in Radio Content Pro is curated to have a perspective and a point of view. You're creating original content on relevant, relatable topics that the audience is already talking about. And when you can do that, you can generate attention. You can create more clicks. You can create more sponsored content from advertisers. You could take there's one of the categories in most of the formats is weird news or strange things that happened that day. You could take that, create a series of videos and content from that, make a section of the website and make that sponsorable. Do a series of videos that go along with it with your show, showcasing one of those things per day, doing a People Are Crazy segment using one of those stories. And now you've got an on-air component that goes along with it. And all of it is coordinated in a suite of tools that you can mix and match in a variety of ways, and then use Radio Content Pro Sidekick to localize and personalize it to make it even more individual for you. And you've got a virtually unlimited number of ways to put this content together to create sponsorships, online resources, and eventually you could probably even create podcasts that are sponsored by your clients to put out under their brand name for some of the topics that Radio Content Pro creates. And it does all the content for you, puts it there right there in front of you. So it makes it very efficient, very effective, and not only cost effective, but it makes it something that you can generate new revenue for. And in the coming weeks, I'm going to be doing a new presentation, a new seminar on that's specifically dedicated to generating revenue and specific ways you can generate revenue using Radio Content Pro. So if you'd like to get that, watch your email box, and I'll hit you up with that when that comes. Also, if you're a programmer or a promotions personality, I'm working on a new ebook that I will be sending out about how to prompt for AI using some of my favorite prompts. And I thought about doing this already, but AI is changing so quickly and it's being enhanced so quickly. It's almost like whack-a-mole. By the time you create a list of your favorite prompts, the cheese has moved and the prompts don't work the same way anymore. So that's why it's not out yet, but I am working on it, and it's going to be more in teaching you how to prompt. Prompting is everything. Now, if you really want to get the most out of some of the things that I've talked to you about today, there are a couple of ways that you can do that. Number one is learn to prompt. I mentioned that before. You got to learn how to prompt. You got to learn how to communicate with AI to get the most out of AI. When you learn to talk to it to get the best out of it, and it comes through experimentation, it comes from being more complete, preparing. And in fact, you can even ask some of the AI chatbots, here's what I want to accomplish. How do I ask you how to help me? And it will give you a response to tell you how to prompt it to get the best response back. I've used that several times. It's awesome. So learning to prompt is one way of doing it. Another is to provide tools. Now, if you're using the free version of the AI models, ChatGPT free or Claude free or Grok free, you're not getting the most out of AI. Spend $20 a month and upgrade. It is night and day difference in what you can get with the paid version versus the free version. It's absolutely worth the investment. Another thing I would highly recommend that you do is to put someone in your organization in charge of it and hold them accountable for using AI, experimenting with it, solving problems with it, and finding ways to deploy it. I do not think AI is coming for your job. I think people who know how to use AI will be coming for your job, and you will be irrelevant if you don't know how to use it and compete with it. And until you learn how to do it with the most advanced, most current AI models that are out there, you're constantly going to be chasing the leaders. So get the $20 a month version. Now, if you use Radio Content Pro Sidekick uses an even more advanced version of ChatGPT than the one that you pay $20 a month for. So it's built into Radio Content Pro Sidekick. So that'll save you $20 a month. You can use Radio Content Pro Sidekick for things with radio because it's specifically trained for that. But you could also get it to give you some ideas that are outside of that if you prompt it the right way. It's a very sophisticated bot that you can use very effectively. Corey says, I've been using the Learn to Prompt to great success. It has always helped me out with radio stuff. Yeah, Corey's up in Kelowna. One of my clients, great programmer who's just come back, and congratulations on your new child. So Corey's a new dad, and he's got about half a dozen other radio children that he's overseeing too. And one of the things that you'll learn when you start using AI is how much more productive you can be. Because you all have lives, and you're torn in so many different directions. And Corey's a good example of that because he's working with several markets, several stations in each of those markets. It's got a lot going on. And if you don't have the tools to be able to get things done efficiently, you're not going to be able to keep up. A lot of these initiatives that stations are doing with digital media, with trying to save money and get more done with less, they all make sense. They're all important. They all are relevant. But unless you have the tools to work with, unless you have the resources to help you do your job better, unless your people are given those tools and taught how to use those tools and given the freedom to use those tools creatively, you're not going to get the best performance out of it. And it's relatively inexpensive to get what you need. It's an investment of time, number one, and that's experimentation to be able to leverage the power of AI in the future and to be creative and come up with solutions for it on your own. And then providing the tools that can free you to do that, including buying the paid version of the AI models. Subscribe to Radio Content Pro, highly recommend that. And something else that all broadcasters should be doing is learning how to use voice. There's a company, I don't know if he's still on or not, Mike Somerville, I think he's still on, but Mike Somerville is a broadcaster in Thailand that we used to work together in San Diego. He now owns a radio station in Thailand and is working with a new company on creating voice resources for radio stations to integrate with their automation systems. Now, that's controversial. Some of you don't like the idea of AI voices coming for you, but the product is called Voitray, VOITRAI.com, VOITRAI.com. It's genius. And I've seen it in action several times, and it's only going to improve and get better from there. So check that out. But at the very minimum, learn how to manage AI voices to make your operation better. I work with a morning show in a very small market. Solo show. Doesn't have a co-host anymore. Budget cuts, right? And the result is that it doesn't have anyone to screen phone calls. So the phone rings, and a lot of, you know how it is when you're answering your own phones on the air. You're going through a lot of people who say, what was that last song that you played? You got anything for free? They're calling about a contest you did 30 minutes ago. They're calling about someone else's contest. It's really hard to get good feedback from an audience. Well, using the voices on 11 Labs, you can go to 11labs.com and check it out. Using the voices on 11 Labs, he started using AI voices as his phone callers. So he'll get the audio, comes out and sounds great, and then he puts it through a phone filter so it sounds just like a phone call. He's used it several times just this week, and it sounds terrific. So using that, using what I talked about when Raj was on vacation and he still was able to do sports on the Dean and Raj show, we used 11 Labs for that. It's a great service. It's relatively inexpensive. It's somewhere probably $20 to $30 a month can get it for you. But it will is also what John Holiday used on the September promo that I wasn't able to play for you, but I showed you the prompts to use it. You take that into 11 Labs and you can get some things to accent what you're doing. So I highly recommend you start experimenting with that. But the number one thing I can tell you is that you need to get started. If you're not doing anything now, get started, because every day that you don't get started using AI, you're going to fall farther behind, because AI improves every day. At my seminar in Kansas earlier this week, I said, if anybody tells you they're an AI expert, they're lying to you, because by the time we leave this seminar today, it's an hour-long seminar, by the time we leave today, AI will have improved to the point where a lot of what I just told you is going to be irrelevant. And it's not moving quite that fast, of course, but it is moving extremely fast. And it's hard, it's overwhelming if you don't get started. It's overwhelming to try and catch up in the middle. So get started, even if it's in very small ways, even if it's in just doing one thing. A great way to do it, get Radio Content Pro. You'll be using it. You'll be understanding how it works. We can give you some tips on it, and I'll be happy to help you with prompting. There's another resource for AI that is on my website. It's called insidersradionetwork.com. And it's a complete tutorial for all things in radio, for personalities, programming, promotions, research, imaging, production, hundreds and thousands of posts and examples, tips, tutorials, seminars on demand, workshops on demand, on every topic you can think of in the radio business, except engineering. And there's not that much about sales, to be honest with you. Those aren't my areas of expertise. We just opened up a brand new section about AI, and I'm adding to it almost every day with another. Here's another prompt. Here's another way to use AI. Here's something that I heard that a station doing. It's a great way to keep up with what other radio stations are doing with it that you can grab and steal. Insiders Radio Network is a subscription. It's inexpensive. It's as low as $19.99 a month, and you can get a free trial if you want to go check it out at insidersradionetwork.com. I don't see any more questions coming in right now, and I've taken up almost an hour of your time. I want to thank Ron Stone and the Independent Broadcasters Association for working with Radio Vendor Alliance on hosting the Lunch and Learn workshops. It's an honor to be selected for the presentation of the very first one. Radio Vendor Alliance, check out RVA on the website. If you're a vendor or if you're a station that's looking for a vendor, go there. It's all vetted. It's trustworthy people who are good people who are working together to bring the best in resources to your radio station at affordable prices. It's a great organization. And please check out Radio Content Pro and watch your email later today for a link to download the slides from today's presentation and watch the replay on demand anytime. And you can share that link with anybody that you like. I'm Tracy Johnson. I thank you very much for your attention and your time. Have a great day. And again, if you want to reach out to me, you can find me at Tracy, Tracy, at tjohnsonmediagroup.com.